I'd like to welcome to Art in the Air Spotlight from the Chicago Street Theater, Allison Granite, and she's going to tell us about their upcoming show and maybe a little bit about her own theater background and some of the things that are going on, maybe even in the summer. Allison, welcome to Art in the Air Spotlight.
Hi, thank you. I'm excited to be on.
Yeah, welcome.
Well, first of all, Allison, before we talk about the show you're directing, tell us just a little bit about your theater background and your relationship to Chicago Street Theater.
So I've been doing theater for a long time. I graduated from Valparaiso University with a theater and English double degree. And then I did some work with court theater out of the University of Chicago for a summer or two. And then after graduation, I worked at Steppenwolf Theater. And I was in properties, in scenic design, and with some background in directing that I did in undergrad. But I've helped and assisted here and there since graduation. My main love is being for properties and design. But I fell in love also with directing. And I've gotten an opportunity to work at Chicago Street Theater off and on over the last few years. I assisted directed Misery a couple years back with my friend Michael Glorioso. And I just remembered how fun it was to direct. And I pitched a few shows, and I kind of stumbled into getting Rules for Living, which I had the pleasure to see live when it first went up in London when I was an undergrad. And I just absolutely fell in love with the show. So it's kind of a quick synopsis of it, but.
When did you graduate?
I graduated in 2018. So it's been a little bit, but I've been kind of hopping around doing freelance work here and there. I have a regular 9 to 5 too, but now I just kind of do this more and more on the side as I get around.
Well, just out of curiosity, what is your 9 to 5?
I am a local librarian.
Oh.
I'm a manager over at Porter County Public Library System.
Excellent. Esther, well, I am too, but Esther is a real fan of libraries, so she...
Yeah.
Yay! We love our libraries.
No, they're the best. So it premiered like in 2015 in London, so you were there for that, oh gosh,
yep,
how lovely.
I saw the last night at the very closing night at the National Theater in their black box space, and I had just gotten tickets for like £5 because they were just trying to fill up the auditorium. And it was one of the coolest experiences I'd ever had. The theater space is obviously amazing. I had a chance to see 2 or 3 shows in it while I was there. And it was just really cool. And I just kind of was enamored, and I immediately bought it in their gift shop area. And that's lent it out to everybody here in town to get, so that everybody could see how good it was.
Tell us a little bit about Rules for Living. It's a Sam Holcroft show, and tell us a little bit about the background of the actual storyline.
So it is your typical family get together. The family comes together for Christmas luncheon, dinner, and right from the get-go, you have just a converging of family reunions of we first meet with Matthew and his new girlfriend who's coming home for Christmas for the first time. You get a kind of a sense that something's a little off there, but then you just have the family getting together, rivaling brothers. That's another kind of thing. And it's just everybody anticipating and preparing for luncheon and waiting for their father to come home who's been at the hospital. So as the family, that's all happening, there's an added kind of Brechtian approach to it that the audience is clued in on. And there are these rules that people have to abide by and perform in order to not deal with the actual problems at hand. So Matthew, who is the son with the new girlfriend, he must sit to tell a lie. So every time during the show, if he's sitting, he's lying. And if he feels like he has to lie, he's got to sit at some point. So the rules everybody gets a rule, and they kind of start stacking and getting more and more absurd until it culminates into this huge food fight at the end. And how you get to that train wreck is really the fun of it.
How long have you been in rehearsal?
We actually start rehearsal on the 16th of December, so we'll be heading into it soon, and then we will be going into about 2 months of rehearsal before we air.
Okay.
So, Allison, did you use like the traditional set, or how have you modified it?
So it calls for an open conservatory like setup with open air. I've stayed pretty lenient or like open to that. I'm also set designing the show, but I wanted to lean into the games aspect of the show a lot. And what I ended up doing is kind of looking to 70s game shows like Matching Game, Hollywood Squares, everything like that, and really leaning into the theatrics of that because the audience gets to see all of those little quirks and tricks, not the characters don't know that's there. So it kind of is very 70s style home, like it's outdated, like the parents have not renovated. And there's elements that are very theatrical. So we have like marquee lighting that's going to flash when characters' rules are going. There's a projection that's going to have all of the rules live as they're racking up points, like a scoreboard. So it's going to be a little bit of that.
Sounds so wonderful.
And real quick, in our last moments here, tell us show name, dates, times, and location.
So the show is Rules for Living. It's going to be starting February 14th and running until March 3rd. And it's going to be at Chicago Street Theater, and you can get tickets there.
Okay, and that's chicagostreet.org, and you can email them at boxoffice@chicagostreet.org. And that's Allison Granite. She's directing Rules for Living there. Thank you so much for coming on Art in the Air Spotlight.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Art in the Air Spotlight and the complete 1-hour program on Lakeshore Public Media is brought to you by McCauley Real Estate in Valparaiso, Olga Patrician, Senior Broker.